business owners and executives from around the Valley. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. Lance Cardoza here, Business Leaders, and you're here in the Fox studio, KMPH Fox 26. And with me today, Jason Meyers. You're the president of the organization Meyers Constructors. Welcome to the show.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Good. Now, we briefly had spoke, and I heard your story and thought, this is a great story. We got to have you on Business Leaders and tell the story. There's a lot of people, they set a course in their life and they're going to do something, and they do that really well. But then they find in their life, maybe it takes a turn. Or with one door closed, another door opens, and that's your story and what you've built with Meyers Constructors. But first, you were a sprint car driver, and probably you had many jobs before that, but a sprint car driver for the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, it's, you never know where life's going to take you. And if, like you said, you have a dream and a desire when you're a kid, and that can even change multiple times. So for me, grew up in Clovis here with my mom and my stepfather, actually. Yeah. And we had a machine shop. We were always around racing. That's just what our family did. It's not that we didn't like ball sports, but it really wasn't what our family did. We did racing, we did rode motorcycles and all that. And so as a kid, that's what I wanted to do. And my stepfather got me involved in go-karts very young. One thing led to another, and wound up in sprint cars at, I think, 17. Here around the Valley, what I think a lot of people don't know is sprint car racing is very, very strong in California. It's known very well back in the Midwest and Pennsylvania up towards the East Coast, but California is one of the hotbeds for sprint car racing. So got my start out here, and got the opportunity in 2000 to go out on the road and give it a shot, and just kind of, it's like they say, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're doing it for a profession. So it was just an amazing opportunity, and something I can definitely never forget, and very grateful that I had the opportunity.
And it sort of set you up for the future of what you were going to do in life with Meyers Constructors, right? Yeah,
it does. I think that's one thing that what I love about sports in general, sports, auto racing, whatever it may be, is I believe that it conditions you for anything that you may encounter in the world, whether it's with your family, with business, whatever it may be. And, for me, racing taught me about competition. It taught me about how to work hard to get what you want. It taught me how to not give up. How to, you come up to an obstacle, you find a way around it. It's an obstacle. It's not a roadblock. It's an obstacle. And within rules, within racing, there's rules and all types of things, and you learn that rule changes are chances for opportunity. They're not necessarily a negative thing. It's something. Yeah. So you encounter that in business every day, and there's always, people are always changing the rules, and there's always obstacles, and
another way to navigate it.
Exactly. And just realizing that there is a path forward. You may not know what it is, but there definitely is a path forward.
And sometimes you're the trendsetter and the leader in your industry, and you create the new trend or the new way of doing it.
Well, and that goes along with that competitive side, right? It teaches you competitiveness, so the goal is to always be the leader.
Yeah, always be the leader. And in your business and racing, that was number one.
Exactly.
It wasn't about just go super fast, and if anything gets in your way, turn.
No, it
doesn't work that way.
No, and there's a lot to it. I remember growing up in school, and your buddies are football players, and they're like, well, you drive cars around in a circle, how hard can that be? And I'm like, you carry a ball down the field, how hard can that be? Right? Yeah. So, when you're young, you're in high school and you're going back and forth with each other. But that's another great thing about racing and sports in general is just the admiration that you have for each other's sports. And I remember I met Kyle Busch and got to know him, and he looks at me one day, he says, you sprint car guys are crazy. And I'm like, why would you think I'm crazy? Like, anyone else would think a NASCAR driver's crazy or an HRA drag racer's crazy, right? So it's all in perspective and what you know. And the great thing about the sporting community, being racing or ball sports, is just there's that thing that you share when it comes to the competitiveness and the desire to do things, and the daring, the risk that you're willing to take.
So in business, Meyers Constructors, it really probably prepared you when you're racing to build teams, because with a really good team supporting a driver really can help get that checkered flag, right?
Absolutely. And I believe that every experience in life offers something, right, that you'll be able to use later in life, whether it's somebody you meet, something you do, any experience you have, there's a learning moment in it. And for me with racing, one of the biggest parts of it was building the team. And one of the things that I've enjoyed most about going into business was bringing that mental aspect of racing. That was the idea that you need a team to do this. You can't do this on your own. Yeah. You need to build a team. And the idea of you can be a hero today and be humbled tomorrow, so don't ever believe the hype, right? Don't ever believe your own headlines, whether they're good or bad. Don't believe them.
Yeah.
And you experience all that type of stuff, and you also experience the relationship building and the things that it takes to put a race team together and maintain a race team and maintain relationships. The world of outlaws, you live together on the road for 9 months out of the year. Yeah. And I think the interesting part about that is you can go to work and work with somebody for 8 to 10 hours a day. And at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, that was a great day, and he or she is really smart, but boy, 8 or 10 hours is enough for that person, right? And
you get a break. Yeah.
But in sprint car racing, you get done with that 8-hour day, and then you go to dinner together, and then you go to the hotel together, and then you get up and ride in the truck together, and it's a marriage. And so it really taught me how to not only build teams, but to build teams that were really cohesive and really complemented each other and were humble, willing to set their own differences aside for the betterment of the team. And I think that has been a great resource in business. I love my team that I built. I spend a lot of time with my team, no different than I did when I was racing. Yeah. And I enjoy my team. I'm at work half of my life, and I want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
So part of enjoying life is enjoying work.
And putting that team together. Tell me about the company. So the company today, and what do you guys do?
So we are a commercial wood carpentry and structural steel business. We also erect prefabricated metal buildings. So it has grown over the past several years. We started the company in 2016. In 2014, I got the chance to work with my father, who was a commercial carpenter for 30 years, and had a small business. And he took me under his wing and showed me the ropes for about 1.5 years, and really enjoyed that time with him. As I said, I didn't grow up living with my dad. I had a relationship with him, but didn't live with him every day. Yeah. So now I was getting to be with him every day, which was really cool on a personal level. And on a professional level, I learned so much so quickly from him. He's just very good at what he did. And so, he taught me the ropes, and then I had the opportunity in 2016 to start our own company, and that was the beginning.
In the beginning of Meyers Constructors. We're going to talk more about that when we return here at Business Leaders, more with Jason Meyers, and we'll talk about the business and where that's going and coming out of where we've been and what happens next, always looking ahead. We'll be back with more Business Leaders here on KMPH Fox 26. Don't go away. Welcome back. Good morning. We're here at Business Leaders here at KMPH Fox 26. Lance Cardoza sitting with Jason Meyers with Meyers Constructors. And Jason, you were telling us before this, World of Outlaws, sprint car driver, learning to build teams and putting together at a very young age. So you got a head start on life and in the business of racing too. It's sort of like you're thrusted into it. You come out of that and you start working for your father and working in his business, and then you find yourself, years later, you have Meyers Constructors. Tell us about that experience and where we left off.
So, when I left sprint car racing in 2012, my wife and I, who have 3 kids, our oldest daughter was old enough to go to school, we decided to make a change. And I will say that was one of the most difficult things I'd ever done. And so when I came home, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I talked to my dad about going to work with him. We actually didn't put it together at first. I wound up joining a landscape firm here in Clovis, who I had been partners with in the race team. Guy Stockbridge and I, who owns Elite Landscaping, we were very good friends. And we paired up and did some stuff for about 1.5 years or 2 years. And it just, my passion was more to work with Guy than it really was landscaping. And so in the meantime, my dad and I had continued to talk. And so in late 2014, I got the chance to go work with him. And it was just something that, I had to do. It was an opportunity for me to do something with my dad. And so we did that for a while. And like I said, he told me I needed to get my license. And in 2016, gave me his blessing to start my own company. And my wife and I, Robin, we started our own company and just kind of started from nothing. Like, here we go. So I had learned a lot from my dad, and I was anxious to take my business acumen from what I had done and what I had learned from my dad, and kind of put it together all in my own kind of formula. And I've always enjoyed, I married my wife at 22, and I can tell you I wouldn't be where I am today. Like, if I could give anybody advice, it's marry the right woman, or the right spouse, I guess we should say.
Yeah.
And it's just, my wife and I have done what I feel just amazing things together that they've been fun, they've been enjoyable. We've worked hard, we've worked very hard, but we enjoy that. We enjoy working hard. And so we started this company here. We started as a commercial carpentry company. My dad was working on retiring and closing down his company. And so I had built some relationships. We got going in that. We did that for...
What year again was that?
2016.
That was 16, okay.
Yeah, April of 16.
Okay.
So we started that, and we did that for 3 years, and then we added a structural steel division to it. And it was just kind of a complementary trade that went along with what we did. And, and over the course of those 3 years, we have this amazing team of people that we share the same standards. We share the same ideals of, we want to work hard. We enjoy working hard. We take pride in the fact that we work hard and we have fun doing it. And we are, very conscious of, we want to do a great job. We want to be the best. Yeah. And that for me obviously comes from racing of I want to win.
It's the competitive
edge.
And
it's not about money. Money's the scoreboard, of course, but it's really about the achievement at the end of the day. It's about going out and building a company that is a tool for people to grow, practice their craft, be great at what they do, provide for their families, and at the end of the day, just have fun doing what we do. We're called to work while we're here on earth, and we believe in doing that well.
And people that hire you, Meyers Constructors, when they hire you, that infectious feeling you probably get from your team is a great experience for somebody that has a project.
Absolutely.
There's so many people that will hire and wonder, when is that project going to get complete? But when you have people that are excited about what they're doing, that probably is a good attribute of your company.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, it's infectious. And once again, when you hire our company, we have the same goal that you have. And that is to get in, do a great job, get done, and get out as fast as we possibly can, and produce the best product we possibly can. And, we share that throughout the company. Everybody in the company shares in those values. It's not just, well, if you get to talk to Jason, it's that way. You pick up the phone and talk to anybody in our company. It's what we believe in. It's our core standard. It's what they are ingrained in everybody. And it's not that I ingrained it in them. It's that I've worked hard, and we've all worked hard to find more people that have that same belief.
What do you find these days right now with your business? It's probably busy. As I think during the pandemic, there was a lot of people that were doing remodeling or restructuring of their business, or it gave them time to plan. How did that affect your company, and where are things today?
Well, we've been very fortunate. We've been blessed to, construction was considered essential during the pandemic, and we were able to continue working and providing for our families during that time. And not everybody had that opportunity, which was, very difficult for a lot of people. And at the same time, it's been difficult to navigate. The supply chain has been extremely difficult. The inflation has been very difficult. So constant relationships with our customers and being able to still try to meet their needs and their budgets within the constraints of the supply chain. And so we're, again, blessed to be busy. And we've actually grown throughout the pandemic. We were able to, in 2020, not so much, but in 2021, we continued to grow and add new things to our plate and add new customers to the customer list. So, we've tried to adapt and change, and it's definitely been different. It's definitely been challenging to navigate and to keep up with. And there's a little bit of exhaustion, I think, that you see throughout the business world of going through this. And but what I always tell everybody is, just remember, there's others that have had it harder. So when you start to feel exhausted, just remember there's people out there that have had it tougher, and be thankful.
And have it worse, and be thankful with anything and everything. I remember my mom used to say all the time, she would say, you can't get blood out of a turnip. And the other thing she would say, if you think it's bad for you today, there's someone else that has it much worse. And they're going through it right now.
Yep.
And it's so much worse than what you're experiencing at this moment. So put your big boy pants on and get out there and get it done. Yep. And that's what she would do all the time. Jason Meyers, stay with me. I want to talk a little bit about the experience when you first started your business and got into that, and what what that translated into building this team that you're working with today with Meyers Constructors. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders. Make sure you check out past episodes by going to businessleaders.tv. We'll be right back here in the studios at KMPH Fox 26. Welcome back to Business Leaders. Make sure you check out the past episodes of Business Leaders by going to businessleaders.tv, and you can click on past episodes and catch this episode and more at businessleaders.tv. In studio here at KMPH Fox 26, Jason Meyers with Meyers Constructors. We're talking about coming from a young age, racing sprint cars, and in the World of Outlaws. You weren't just racing sprint cars, you were with the World of Outlaws, traveling 9 months out of the year. You then find a time in your life where, as a professional athlete, it's time for a new phase in life, and you're trying to figure out what that is. You work with a buddy in landscaping business, you start working with your father, and today you've built Meyers Constructors. But it didn't just construct out of a box, I'm sure.
No,
it was a challenge through that whole process, and there's pitfalls. And what were some of those learning moments that you, your wife Robin, that you experienced in building this company?
Well, so one thing about construction is the acronyms. It is absolute Spanish, or I wouldn't say Spanish, it is Chinese for the first couple of years.
Just trying to learn all
just
that.
What is that? Still to this day, you go to a conference and it's like, you know, the BAB, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Everybody acronyms everything.
Yeah.
And so just really learning the lingo. You know, when I left racing, I was somebody. I was Jason Meyers, and we had won championships, and I could pick up the phone and say, this is Jason Meyers, and they would say, oh, yeah, what's going on? What do you need? And now I would pick up the phone and call and say, this is Jason Meyers, and they'd say, I'm sorry, who'd you say you were? And it's like, it's been 10 years since I had to remember how to handle that.
Say, you know, buddy, you don't know how I am.
Yeah. So not only was it humbling, but it was just professionally of, okay, wait a minute, how do you got to go back and find those skills again.
Yeah.
So
and especially at a young age too, because that was sort of like, it was ingrilled in you. This is who you are.
Yeah.
And when you're successful at it, very hard to regroup out of that as a young athlete.
Yeah, it is. It's humbling, and it's and not just humbling, it's challenging.
Yeah,
it really is. So you know, with every challenge, like we talked about earlier, it's an opportunity to learn and grow. And so I'll accept any challenge, as long as any challenge, obviously, and then fight to get out of it. So you know, it really started with a few great people. And like I said earlier in the show, I married the right woman. I married an amazing woman who is not only very intelligent, a great mother, just a great partner in life, and just a very, very loving person that was always there for me, believed in me, and believed in what we could do together. And you know, my wife is extremely humble, so that she would never take any credit for anything that we've ever done. And even if I'm to give it to her, she won't receive it. Yeah. That she's very, very humble, but she really has been a big part of what we did. And you know, there was many nights where, you know, 18-hour days and working late, and I'm not afraid to work hard, and she gave me grace. You know, she allowed me to do that. We had 2 young daughters at that point, and there were things that I didn't help with. I didn't do a lot of baths. I didn't change a lot of diapers, and she gave me that grace to do that. And I think that is a very, not only do I think, I know that is a very big part of where we are today. And you accompany that with some of the great people that we really started with, and people many that had worked with my dad, and as my dad wrapped up, they came on board, and you know, they didn't have to trust me. They had worked for my dad, who, in my opinion, was one of the greatest carpenters in this area, and I think many would back that up. And here I was, this race car driver, right, that had been around the trade for a year and a half, and they believed in me. And you know, I of course believed in them. They had all the pedigree and all the ability, and we just teamed up, and we got along really well from the very beginning. And there's several of them. Brian Gillis is somebody that could have retired years ago, but has worked alongside me and just believes in what we're doing, and has mentored so many carpenters, so many people in our company. And there's, you know, I could start listing names, but I'd forget somebody, so I won't do that. But just great people that we were blessed with that came into our lives all at different times, and believed in the vision, still to this day believe, and not only believe, but support it, and help to build and lead that vision.
Talk to me about the future vision of the company, Meyers Constructors, and how do they find you? What's your website, and how do they find you? And talk to me about the future. Where do you see this company going in the future?
You know, so first of all, our website is meyersconstructors.com. You can find us on the web. We're not quite into social media yet. It's not a tool that we've used yet, but we're going that direction soon. Mainly to reach out to future associates of Meyers Constructors. We feel that it'd be a good way to share with them what we're about and what we do. And the future is really good. You know, the reason I got into construction, two reasons. One, I felt it was something that I could do with my father. It was a great opportunity. Two is it's something that you have to do here. And the future is looking like a lot of modular construction, things that can be built in factories. But the fact is, if you're not going to build that overseas and ship it here, the cost would just be too great. Mm-hmm. So it's really something that there is no ceiling to the industry. And for me, being racing and being competitive and wanting that constant challenge is I didn't want a ceiling. I didn't want an end to what the possibilities were. And really where I want that, that end, I don't really want an end in sight. Like there may be an end for me personally, but not for the company. Yeah. And the idea here is to build that visionary company that, beyond what I can do and beyond my leadership will continue to develop and create a great place for people to hone their craft, to enjoy what they do, to support their families, and to be able to just have great relationships in business and really enjoy the act of doing work and providing for their family.
Thank you, Jason, for being on the show. Meyers Constructors, right here on KMPH Fox 26, is Business Leaders. That's all the time we have. Next week, back here on Business Leaders, we'll see you Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. Want to remind you to catch all past episodes by going to businessleaders.tv. Thanks again. We'll see you Tuesday morning at 11 a.m.